Bickley and Marotta Mornings. Arizona Sports. The local sports leader. Bickley Blast.
Today is an angry tradition, maybe the angriest day on the NFL calendar. It's Overreaction Monday, where first impressions can take on hysterical overtones. That isn't the case in Arizona because our NFL team lost a shootout in Buffalo after their defense blew a 14-point lead, and the fear here is not overreaction, it's that the Cardinals are who we thought they are. There is a lot of criticism on Kyler Murray for missing a wide-open Marvin Harrison Jr. on the last drive of the game, and that's partly fair because even if Murray was scrambling for his life, great quarterbacks do not miss wide-open star wide receivers with the game on the line because great quarterbacks are looking for that star wide receiver, kind of like Kyler Murray did on the infamous Hail Mary. But to me, that is short-sighted. Pun not intended, because the story of this game was the sum of my fears. From the lack of an edge rusher, to the lack of depth on the offensive line, to a defense that may not be able to carry its weight, to a quarterback who still struggles when forced to beat a team exclusively from the pocket. Now, to be fair, there was a ton to love from the first 25 minutes of that game, and there was a ton to love from K1's performance, but ultimately, week one was a game won by a great quarterback who simply refused to lose, and we are still waiting for that guy in Arizona. All right, today's Bickley Blast brought to you by my great friends at Chapman BMW who make luxury attainable. Find them online at chapmanbmw.com.
Yeah, we got to do better. I mean, we're up 17-3 and you lose a game, so that falls on coaches. We got to, do a better job when we got the lead and execute all three phases. But the defense, we got to do it. Start with me. We got to keep the score down a little bit there especially when we're playing with a lead. So. Like I said, the 14 points and call it 5 minutes there at the end of the second quarter, at the beginning of the third, we got to do a better job there. They know that.
It's Jonathan Gannon, the head coach of the Cardinals, pointing at the defense. Hey, got to do a better job holding leads. I think everybody can agree on that. You're up. To me, it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. When you move the ball with as much efficiency as the Cardinals did in those first three drives, and I know this was pointed out, and I know you had a note about it in your column today on ArizonaSports.com. First time the Cardinals have opened a game with three straight scoring drives since 2006.
No, believable.
That was the first year of Phoenix or Arizona Cardinals Stadium at that point.
Yeah. Listen, and so to me, the way that game started, it was such a flex for Jonathan Gannon and even Drew Petzing at that point in time. They had the Buffalo Bills on skates, and when they were up 17-3, the Bills had the ball nearing the end of the first half, where they kept getting false start penalties, where they kept getting time run off the clock as a result, where they had to burn a timeout to prevent another run off of time, and the fans there were starting to boo. There was a smattering of boos. The only time you ever use the word smattering.
True.
When boos are involved. And at that point in time, I thought, what a flex for Jonathan Gannon and this staff who exposed their key players to very little of preseason football, and yet they are coming out firing. And then it all got away from them. And we've seen this story before last year. We've seen games turn on halftime. Unfortunately, this defense allowed the Bills to hit the daily double, where you score a touchdown right before half, get the ball back, and score another touchdown. And just like that, it's like 30 minutes of good work is down the drain. And then we saw the injury to Jonah Williams really influence the tone of that game, where Kyler Murray lost his pocket. He lost his time to throw. Mm-hmm. He lost his patience, and he lost, dare I say, his nerve a little bit.
Yeah,
there were a couple of sacks yesterday that seemed to be kind of like, could you have gotten away from that if you really wanted to? That old thing again.
Mm-hmm. In the first half yesterday, Kyler Murray, 16 of 19, 131 yards and a touchdown. Second half, 5 of 12, 30 yards. No touchdowns, no picks. So obviously the complexion changed. To me, one of the biggest plays of the game happened in the third quarter. The Bills came out. Jonathan Gannon made reference to the stretch where you're up 17-3. They score right before halftime. Then they score on their first drive. And just like that, there's 9 minutes and 51 seconds left in the third quarter, and you're feeling great about yourself, and now you're tied. But, after a 3-and-out on that next possession, the Kyler Murray sack/fumble, put the Bills in field position to take the lead. They did just that. Obviously, you're not going to play perfect football, and Kyler Murray did not play perfect football yesterday, but that to me was an indication with what the reality is on the defense in terms of lack of playmakers and lack of talent. We've been talking about it all preseason. You have such a razor-thin margin. You cannot overcome turnovers like that if you're the Arizona Cardinals.
Well, yes, that's very, very accurate. The strip sack of Kyler Murray, that's a guy who busted loose. There's nothing you can do about that. I also think when you take a look at what their defense was able to do or not able to do, they could not get pressure from their defensive line on Josh Allen. And when they did get shots at Josh Allen, they let him get away. And that's a killer combination. So if you're required to bring blitzes to get to Josh Allen, and then the blitzers don't even get him when they get shots to get him, that's no bueno.
Yeah.
And there was some of that going on as well. And then the play calling came into play as well.
Yeah, on the play calling, a lot of people, a lot of Cardinal fans, and listening to the post-game show and reading things online, very dissatisfied with the play calling in the second half. A couple plays in particular, third down in the red zone that led to a field goal with the Cardinals trailing, and then a third down and 10 late on that last drive, the second to last play of the game. They ran it to James Conner. Jonathan Gannon was asked that question yesterday. Why running play on third down late?
Yeah, I tried to pop a run there on third down, so like the call there, got us to a manageable call. They did a good job getting it down, but I like the play call there.
You don't think about using timeouts at that time, before they're calling the timeout, before that play?
No.
No. Okay.
All right, so no thought of using the timeout. So that set up the fourth down play, 4th and 7. Cardinals still have 2 timeouts there. They go on the long play to Greg Dortch. Why there?
Yeah, I think they brought a 0, so we got a one-on-one to Dortch. So, yeah, I mean, bang play, so we'll make more of those than we don't.
Here was Kyler Murray, who threw that pass, was asked after the game, were you satisfied with those last 2 play calls on the Conner run and the Dortch pass on 4th down?
That's what we felt was best. That was what we felt with the run. Obviously, if it would have popped, you wouldn't be saying that. They're obviously playing soft, playing pass. So trying to sneak a run in there, we had timeouts. It wasn't like we needed to force the ball downfield, you know what I mean? So you try to sneak one in there. As far as matchup goes, I like all 4 of the receivers that we had out there on any of the DBs, but that was the one I chose. So,
yeah, look, none of it worked out.
Yeah.
When it was all said and done, and when the Cardinals had their backs against the wall, none of that worked out. And yes, you can always say, well, if we would have popped it there, you wouldn't be saying that. Execution matters, obviously, but
if the play would have worked,
yeah, if the execution is not there,
doesn't mean it's a good play.
You have to look
doesn't
at the
mean it's a
play
good call.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean it's a good call. And sometimes bad calls work. But in that situation, 3rd and 10, when you've got what you claim to be is a great set of weapons around Kyler Murray, and you've fed this belief that this is our guy, you don't hand the ball
too cute.
there. It's
too cute. Trying to outthink everybody.
Yeah, it is too cute. I completely agree with that. And then on top of this, the Marvin Harrison miss. And again, we can sit here and get into the nuances of it. It's not as simple as Kyler Murray not looking at Marvin Harrison Jr. It's not as simple as, Kyler Murray sucks because he missed a wide open wide receiver. There were a lot of moving pieces in that particular play.
Sure.
But after that play, why doesn't somebody come back and go, I was wide open. Let's try this again. And get me the ball. Throw me the ball. Why there was not that at any point yesterday, I really wonder about. And Kyler talked about it. Okay, the first back shoulder fade. I read the play properly, and my rookie wide receiver just didn't know that, there's no way to get deep on this guy. The only way to make this completion is back shoulder. Okay, so Kyler Murray's basically saying that the rook just didn't know what he was doing there. And he's right. The next time he tries him, pass right in his hands, he's got the yips. Clearly, doesn't have a reception in the NFL yet. This is one of the most ball-secured, sure things in college football, and he drops a wide-open pass.
But after he did that, they went back to him on the very next play, 4-yard gain, and that was it. Boom.
And that was the last time that people raved about Drew Petzing's play calling the entire game. All up until that point, that's so smart to go right back to him. Get him back on the train. Let's go. But after that, there was nothing. And I'm just curious, when they watch this tape today, or if they've already watched it, How many times did he have separation? How often was he open? Did the Bills just effectively take him out of the game? Because that's kind of what we predicted might happen with this offense.
But it's not like so. If the Bills did take Marvin Harrison Jr. out of the game, that should open up things for another wideout.
Exactly.
It was not a good day for the wide receivers. It was not a good day for the vertical passing game at all.
Well, like you said, and I think you're right about this, that last drive, the Bills ended up kicking that kickoff out of bounds. The Cardinals took over on the 40, and you're like, okay, that's a good break. That first play, Kyler Murray made a beautiful pass to Michael Wilson, who just blew it. I mean, the ball right off his biceps.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of set a tone for this thing. And it's, the vertical passing game is clearly one of the big weaknesses in Week 1.
Thanks for watching Bickley and Marotta. Click to see the latest Bickley Blast and hit the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.